Yo, what is up YouTube? It's Nate from Team Learning and Growing, bringing you the first episode in a new series we're going to be calling Perfect Knowledge. This series is going to be either myself or one of the other members of Team Lag commentating over one of our various Learning Ground episodes, so go ahead and check those out if you haven't seen them already. Or any of our other recorded games that we have from like our weekly tournaments or lab sessions. We're going to be going into a bit of a deeper analysis of the gameplay, providing some insight into the different lines of play, as well as discussing certain interactions and going over some, bread and butter combos of each deck. Today's game is from Learning Ground 16. It's between myself, playing my yellow good stuff Gotenks deck, and my teammate Noel, playing his trusty Gogeta Xeno. And so right here, we're finishing up our mulligans. And he's going to be taking his first turn. He charges the thwarting and instantly activates his leader ability. It's great that Gogeta Xeno's leader ability doesn't need to swing in order to activate it, so you do get some advantage going turn 0 almost, your turn 1 when you can't swing. He's able to summon his thwarting the Dark Empire, using the Vegeta in his warp as material, as well as the Goku out of his hand. It's going to pass over to my turn, where I charge my Turles and I swing for leader to leader, just to get that draw, maybe get a bit of damage on him. Gotenks has the option to take a life, but I don't do it, obviously, because he already has that turn 1 thwarting. So I want to, try to keep as high life as possible, as long as possible, make him work for every damage he gives me, and not, deal any damage to myself. I'm going to be going for this, using the activate main on Slug to summon the 1-drop Slug just to get draw. I think I already have either another 1-drop Slug in my hand or another 3-drop. I know that he's going to warp this 1-drop when he swings with thwarting, which he's about to do right now. But I think I was just looking to get a little bit of deck thinning as well as draw. Slug isn't as good in this matchup as it is in most other matchups, just because they have their Fearless Fusion, which can just warp it for 1 energy. So having to commit resources into 3-drop Slug when it's so easily cleared, I think is a little minus in this matchup. But he's going to swing at me with thwarting, warp my 1-drop Slug and double strike me to 6. He's going to swing at me with his leader and take a life. It's going to hit me down to 5 life. And then he's going to activate his leader skill, which allows him to mill the top 5 into his warp. Luckily, he doesn't hit that many targets. He does hit a Unison, which he's able to Kai and bring out the Unison for 1. Mirror is a great Unison because it allows him to put a card in his warp if he needs, say, another material, a Goku or Vegeta in the warp in order to go into his fusion, as well as, keeping his hand size big so he doesn't have to pitch that card out of his hand and lose that hand size. He's able to push the card to the warp, draw a card, and he's able to keep his hand size at the same size while also having that material in the warp. I think he's about to, he summons the 1-drop Goku, which gains attack power for if your opponent draws a card outside of their leader skill, and it's a double strike. It's a good replacement since the True Fighting Spirit Goku, which is obviously the best Goku to be playing in the Gogeta Xeno deck, has been limited to unique, so you can only have 1 on board. Otherwise, you were able to just stack them and punish your opponent for using counters. So it comes back over to my turn. I think about charging the Black Kamehameha because I want that extra card in order to make Riposte live, but I end up deciding on the Basil because I intend to use the Black Kamehameha on the next turn, on Noel's next turn, as combo power, which also puts the card in the drop, which also helps fuel Riposte, while also giving me a draw and combo power, because I want to try my best to not awaken until my turn 3. I don't want to awaken on his turn, and I know that he's going to have a bunch of damage coming with thwarting, being able to play Marvelous and Defuse. I know there's a lot of damage coming my way this next turn, and I want to do my best not to take that damage. And so I'm going to, keep the Black Kamehameha in my hand for combo power the next turn. I think about playing the Basil here, but then I remember I want that energy up in order to play the Black Kamehameha, as well as the Forbidden Power in my hand, which will limit his swings on the next turn, and also, you know, just give me a little more combo power, a little more life going forward. I pass turn with 2 energy up and 5 life, and it goes over to Noel, who charges a second Kai, which is, you know, those Kais replace themselves when they're in the warp, so he's able to just bottom deck them and then, you know, keep recycling them. It was much more broken when the Black Smoke Dragon was able to shuffle the deck and just keep, you know, not leaving it on the bottom, recycling those Kais. So he's going to activate Leader Skill to mill and see if he can put more materials in the grave. He's going to swing with thwarting, and I'm going to token negate to bring myself down to 5. I mean, from 5 to 4. I know that he's going to warp the token, so I don't even bother to put it on the board. But I love to use those token negates in order to basically turn that double strike into a single strike, only taking 1 damage from, you know, the boss monster that is thwarting, the 1 mana boss monster that is thwarting. He's gonna summon Marvelous Union Fusion for Marvelous Might and draw a card. And I know he's gonna swing with Marvelous, so I'm going to use Forbidden Power in order to limit him to 1 more battle card swing for the turn. And that's my first extra card in the grave, so, you know, I'm ready to turn on Riposte the next turn. So he's just gonna leave this swing at 20, I think, and I'm gonna be able to use the Black Kamehameha to rest the Goku for 1. It draws me a card, which is great because it replaces itself, and then I just combo off a counter cooler to just bring myself to 25 because I really don't want to take this Marvelous Might damage. I don't want to be forced to awaken, basically. In hindsight, it might have been better to wait until the Mira swing, because I know that he's going to try to attack me with his Unison, so that I don't have to combo off the extra 5k and just take this damage, because later on in the turn, I am going to take the Mira swing, basically. And if I had waited for them, like, to use the Black Kamehameha on the Mira swing, it might have been better, because then I could have saved 5k in hand. It doesn't really come up in this game, but, you know, just in case for future, you know, just for future sight. So he swings at me leader to leader so he can draw and take a life. I am pretty sure I swung my leader at Unison last turn, because I knew he was at 6 life, and I knew it was going to take him a couple of resources if he wanted to awaken in this turn 3. So I kind of want him to not awaken too early, just because Yellow does better in the later game, in a slower game against Gogeta Xeno. You know, I think I get more value out of my energy at the later stages of the game than he does. So I want him, and that awaken turn that he has is really can be really explosive, and so I want to try my best to to not take that damage and to not let him awaken. So I'm going to super combo on his Unison swing here, just to get myself to 20, and then he's going to tap 2 and play another Unison, which he's then able to uptick for +1 in order to get that swing off. He's going to Overwhelm here. However, I use Poutine's effect to rest the Overwhelm because the card is being played by swing. The card is being played by skill, so I'm able to rest it with Poutine so he doesn't get that swing off. But he's able to uptick the new Unison, which he played for 2, in order to get that swing, and then that's the damage I take, which, you know, once again, in hindsight, I couldn't expect that he was going to play another Unison this turn, so it may have been, you know, something I couldn't foresee, but like I said, it might have been better to take that 20k swing in the beginning instead of taking this 15k swing here at the end of the turn. So it's going to go into my turn 3. I'm going to charge my second Basil. I know that I have 3 Basils in my deck, so I'm, you know, not too worried, especially since it's unique. I'm going to tap 2 to play my Turles all too easy, which gives me the option to, well, I get to destroy one card in rest mode, and then I can either draw a card or destroy another card in rest mode. So I choose to destroy the thwarting and the Goku. Knowing that he charged one thwarting, that was his second thwarting, and then he milled one thwarting in the beginning. And so I awaken here, which I don't think I should, to untap these two energy. I really should have swung with Turles first to see if he was going to token negate to get that extra draw off. He doesn't end up doing it, so it ends up being inconsequential, but that's just for future notice. I should have waited to awaken in order to see if he would token negate to negate the double strike that Turles was going to put on him. And then I swing with leader into his leader just to kind of force his awaken. I know that he wants to awaken on his turn because he wants to use that extra energy to put more pressure on me. I don't know if he needed to awaken here because I left it at 15, so he could have comboed 2 cards out of his hand. But I think he thought that the awakening here was worth it because I still have 3 energy up. He doesn't know if I'm gonna play any more battle cards. I could Turles again, and then that extra card that he combos off would have been wasted. I end up passing my turn here, so I end up wasting that energy that he restood on his awaken, and I have 3 energy up for this for this counter turn going to his turn 4, knowing that I have multiple ripostes. I think I draw into pan somewhere in this turn, so I know that I have the energy in order to survive this turn 4, and then I definitely want to be able to go for game next turn because I think that turn 4 is like a really big explosive turn for yellow. So he charges the new Trunks that plays itself in the warp and refuels his Overrealms. And then he does something interesting here. He swings with his Unison first, which I thought was interesting because if I say I have riposte and a riposte goes off, usually your Unison swing is your safest swing because you don't have to rest anything when you swing with your Unison. He could have been anticipating that I may or may not have had power of a Super Saiyan, but I ended up playing riposte here, and he Super Kames it, so maybe he had that foresight thought that he could swing with his Unison and not fear riposte just because he was going to Super Kame it anyway. And so I ended up misplaying here. Not misplaying, but I ended up kind of cheating Noel a little bit. I end up resting his thwarting here. He Union Fusions thwarting out his 4th thwarting. And I rest it with Poutine, which I can't do because Poutine effect activates on the first, either summoned by a skill or counter. And so it would have procced on the Super Kame, and I would have missed that timing. I don't think it matters too much, but that extra double strike definitely would have put more pressure. He swings with Marvelous Might, and I pan, and he Super Kames it, but pan still goes off, and it still limits him to not being able to swing with battle cards. So even here, I know that I'm pretty safe for this turn. He only has his leader swing left because he has no more Unisons to swing with. Knowing that he can only play it for 1. He overwhelms here because it basically replaces itself, and if he swings with his leader, which is his last swing of the turn, it gives him 5k combo, which doesn't deplete his hand size. I thought it was interesting, but that's how Noel explained it to me, because I was like, why are you overwhelming when you know that you don't have any more battle card swings? But it makes sense because it is a 5k combo on his leader swing that also replaces itself in the hand, so that made sense. But I ended up negating this attack anyway, and so he kind of loses out on that value. Once again, I think that was an interesting line that both of us took, but he has to pass his turn because he has no more battle card swings because I panned, and it goes into my turn 4, and I know at this point that I am trying to go for game in this turn. So I end up charging my Black Kame, just knowing that both of our hand sizes are a little small. Black Kamehameha doesn't draw me a card on my turn, and I would rather have the extra draw or combo power that comes with, I think, the one-drop slug I have in my hand, as well as being able to play my Unison right now. So I'm going to play Vegeta Unison of Fury for 3 energy, and I'm going to use its uptick ability to rest the token that I summoned with, oh wait, I think, so at first I'm going to think about swinging with Turles here first, but then I decide to play the Unison and rest his 1 energy with the Unison's ultimate, just to, you know, avoid having. So here I think about swinging with the Turles, but then I take that back, you know, because this is our testing sessions, so we do try to play around the most optimal lines. So he could have, say, a Kai Negate, or a Petrification, or a Power, Protector of the People. All these negates are very commonly played in Gogeta Xeno, and they can be, you know, they can put a pretty big halt on the turn. So I decide to go with playing my Unison for 3 mana, upticking by resting the token, and then downticking in order to rest his 1 energy. So now I'm not afraid of any 1 mana negates anymore. I'm not afraid of, basically the only thing I'm afraid of is his token negate. And even when he token negates, he's going to have to take his life, which basically does that 1 damage anyway. And then I can rest the token with either Poutine or Leader Skill. I go here with Faf, and he makes an interesting play. He ends up token negating here with the Faf swing. I think that it may have been a little bit of a misplay, because Faf can only really do 1 damage, so basically token negating there. He's not going to get the blocker off anyway, because he knows I'm going to rest it. So token negating there may or may not have been the right or wrong decision. I ended up swinging for game with my dual attack double strike Unison here and just comboing off my entire hand. And you know, that wins the game. But I think a better line of play would have been to just take the Faf damage, and then if I had on the next swing, because he knew that a double strike was going to be coming, he could have token negated there, so at least he sees that 1 extra card out of his life instead of only, you know, just getting double striked for the win. So that may have been a different line of play he could have taken. But in the end, I end up getting this game. I really, you know, Noel is such a great player. I think Noel is one of the best players on the team, and I really enjoy playing against him. And so always taking a dub off him is a good feeling. But that's the end of the video. If you guys have any comments or suggestions on how to make this series any better, please let me know, and we'll try to implement them in the next episode. Please check out the rest of the Learning Grounds series. Episodes come out daily, and it's always a fun time to watch our unedited team lab sessions as we, you know, discuss our lines of play and also have our little bits of miscellaneous banter. Please stay tuned for more Perfect Knowledge episodes, and as always, have a great day, and keep learning and growing. Peace out, guys. Later.